All right, welcome everybody. I am so sorry about all the technical delays and everything, but you gotta love OBS. So we're here live with Smoke Carbon. Smoke Carbon, please tell me you're there.
I am here.
Okay, great. I hope the stream can hear you as well. If anybody in the chat does not pick up on Carbon, please say something so we're not just talking to a ghost. That's okay. Carbon, we love you. Okay, so for the sake of time, we're not good since the green flag flies here in like 20, 30 minutes. We're going to get through our predictions right away. If you guys want to play along and be a part of this, tweet your predictions, your full predicted bracket on Twitter using hashtag NBB2020. So, Carbon, first round of 16, we have Darlington, Richmond, and Bristol. And I don't know about you. I mean, yeah, you got to take into account what these guys have done over the course of the entire season and whatnot, and how many playoff points. But whatever is the case with these rounds, and especially this year, because we got a whole new, practically a whole new different, schedule of tracks in the playoffs. So first round, first three tracks are Darlington, Richmond, and Bristol. Who do you got moving on, and who do you have being eliminated?
Right now, I have Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski, Logano, Elliott, Truex Jr., Blaney, Bowman, Byron, and I have Boyer, Kyle Busch, and DeBenedetto. The ones that I believe that probably will not make it is Kurt Busch, Cole Custer, Austin Dillon, and Eric Almirola.
Ooh, Almirola. That one surprises me. How come Almirola?
Well, since we got Darlington, Darlington is a really tough track, and Richmond, the reason I kind of picked Richmond for Eric Almirola, um, I feel like something really bad is going to happen to him, mainly at Darlington. But with Richmond coming up, uh, I don't see him running pretty well there at Richmond for some reason. But I mean, he can just go to Darlington right now and end up winning the race. But Darlington, everybody knows Darlington is a really tough track. But Richmond, it's a short track, but anything can happen in Richmond. Anything can happen to all these drivers. But I just don't see him performing pretty well. He can run decent, but stage three is what really matters, and he can be wrecked in that race. But Bristol, on the other hand, is also one of the most difficult short tracks because anything it's such a small track. Lap traffic could be a huge play for all these drivers, and you can just be running perfectly, and then all of a sudden you can get wrecked out by a lap car, have a failure, mechanical failure, and actually in all three of these races, or it just depends on luck and just have a solid run. But since we're going to all these races, we just don't know what's going to happen to all these drivers. They just hoping hoping things will be good in the end.
Yeah, so you got your so I'm gonna go through my list here. So I got Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski, Logano, Elliott, Truex, Blaney, and then here's where I start to differ with you. I got Almirola making it in. Both the Bush brothers I got going in, Boyer and Byron. So that means I got DeBenedetto, Custer,
Hmm.
Dillon, and Bowman not making it. So I was going
Why
back and
Bowman?
forth a lot between Bowman and Byron. One, I feel like Byron is coming off that momentum with the win at Daytona. I think that that's going to carry him through this round pretty well. And then when I just look at Bowman on the other hand, I don't know what's happened to him. Like he was doing really good there
Yeah,
before the big COVID break, and even at the first couple of weeks after the COVID break, he maybe not had the best finishes, but he had speed here at Darlington, our first race back from that break. He had really good speed there at Charlotte, in a
hmm
couple other races. But then it was after the first 4 or 5 races after the COVID break. It's just been bad, and the times whenever they
yeah.
have had those speed, like they've had terrible luck go their way. So I
Hmm.
don't have him making it. Dylan and Custer, they show speed, but they're just not consistent enough. I feel like to be able to make it onto the next round. And then uh, the Benedetto. If we were making this prediction, and if the playoffs were a month ago, I'd have him moving on
Hmm.
to the next round. But
Yeah.
this past month and a half, been terrible. I mean, he had about a 90, 100 point lead over a month ago over the cutoff, and he just barely got in. So he
Hmm.
has been losing points every single week for about the past 5 or 6 races. So momentum's
Hmm.
not on that side. And as much of a Benedetto fan that I am, I just feel like he is not going to be able to make it onto the next round. Sucks. I
The
kind of
thing
wish for
is,
him, but I just don't see him making it.
yeah. Well, the thing is about like with Darlington and Richmond and Bristol, since they're going to Darlington for what, the third time for Cup race now this year. Um, with Bowman, he actually ran pretty well. Like he ran really good in the first Darlington race, but in the second race, I mean, I don't remember where he finished in the second one, but since it's playoff time, I believe that like drivers, mainly like these teams now, are going to use their best stuff for these races now. Like whatever they got the best offer, they're going to do the best equipment they got. So for Darlington for sure, since we know Bowman can actually run pretty good there. Chase Elliott can run pretty good there too. Um, Byron, on the other hand, he got in the wall at Darlington, and it was a little toss up with me in the list about putting Eric Almirola out around at 16. I was going to pick Byron, but I don't know. But the momentum from him getting that first win from last week, but that was Daytona. But since we're going to Darlington, one of the toughest tracks, it's gonna be this the round of 16. It's uh it's gonna be a difficult round, but compared to round two, which I consider round two like the round of 12, like the hardest round in the playoffs. But I I just I just don't really see Eric Almirola making it, especially like Custer and Austin Dillon. I don't really see them making it. Kurt Busch, he was a little bit kind of him and between DiBenedetto. I had a feeling Kurt Busch was gonna make it, but DiBenedetto is right there. But Kurt Busch is also right there too. But Kurt Busch got eliminated in round one, twice actually. Was it 2014? And then he got eliminated last year and in round one as well. But it just all it is just it depends on performance and consistency, and hopefully everything will go well at the end. But
Yeah,
things
yeah,
could
yeah,
turn
for
out so
sure. And
quickly.
I think with the test of Darlington and you got two short tracks, that's really going to be a big standout for the rest of these guys. So, uh, so yeah. That being said, oh boy, 15 minutes for the green flag flies. We gotta get rolling here. uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So once again, guys, anyone who's just joining, if you want to get in on this as well, tweet out your full bracket predictions using hashtag NBB2020 on Twitter before the drop of the green flag. So moving on to the round of 12, we got Vegas, Talladega, and Charlotte Roval. If there were any two big tracks that were the two wild card events, this is probably going to be the wild card round because you got a super speedway and you got the Roval. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
lead off with my predictions
Yep.
this time. Uh, Harvick, Hamlin, of course, Keselowski, Logano. Penske cars are always good in there, as well as the third Penske car, Blaney. He's won there the past 2 times. Elliott, Truex. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I was reading off the round column. My bad. Those guys are all correct. So Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski, Blaney, Logano, Elliott,
Mm-hmm.
Truex. There's those seven, and spent a lot of time thinking about this, but because he's been pretty good run, and I think he's gonna. And he made the underdog Cinderella story moving on before a couple of years ago by winning at Talladega. I'm gonna say Eric Almirola to the round of eight. So a couple key people not on that next round. both
Mm-hmm.
the Bush brothers,
So,
Boyer and Byron. So Kyle Busch, yes, I understand he's good that he can turn around any time, but one, not only has he not really turned it around, but he has one playoff point, I believe. One or no, three playoff points, something like that. And then when he's got to make up all
mm-hmm,
the ground on all these other guys that have so many more playoff points than him, I just don't see him making that ground up.
mm-hmm.
So, Carbon, what do you got?
Right now for the round of 12, I got Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski, Logano, Elliott, Truex Jr., Blaney, Bowman. Uh, I have I actually hold on, let me see something real quick. But the round of 12, the drivers that I have to be eliminated is the Benedetto, Boyer, Byron, and this is going to be a huge shock to everyone. I even picked Kyle Busch to be
See,
eliminated in
well,
the round of 12.
I mean, both of us got KFB getting eliminated
Mm,
during round 12, and uh, like I said, I'm assuming you may be with me on this, but are you kind of in the same boat that he just hasn't shown that yet? I mean, think about it. This
mm-hmm,
guy was only 3 spots ahead of the cutoff with only a few
mm-hmm,
weeks to go in the season.
mm-hmm. The
Like
crazy thing
we
is
don't we
about it,
don't think we don't like that shouldn't happen with Kyle Busch, but yet it has.
but the crazy thing is about it, like, you know, I see him making it through round of 16 as usual. You got Richmond and Bristol. He's good at both of those tracks, but Vegas, he's good at Vegas, but with Talladega and Charlotte, which Talladega and Charlotte are going to be the tracks that will change up everything. We don't know how Talladega is going to be. We don't know how Charlotte Roval is going to be, but it's a really tough track to, to like realize that since Talladega is going to have the big one, change the whole ball game. The Roval Charlotte, everybody everybody knows how good Chase Elliott is at road course races. He's a road course ringer. Um, but everybody is going to be worried about Talladega. Whoever is going to win Vegas is not going to have to worry about Talladega and the Roval, but I feel like the ones that who doesn't win Vegas are definitely going to be really worried about Talladega because it could shake the entire field up. And Kyle Busch, for knowing that he's been in about every single big one in the race, and Charlotte Roval, you can be performing well and get wrecked in the end. And the Charlotte Roval changes. It's just kind of like what happened to Ryan Newman last year. He did it perfectly until the last couple laps. He ended up messing up, and that's
Well,
what cost
it's
him
been
the
like
playoff
that
spot.
it's been like that the past 2 years. The past two
Yeah, yeah,
remember
like
2 years remember
Johnson,
what 2 years ago
like
Johnson sent it
yeah,
on to the
yeah,
corner. Yeah, he was
yeah,
safe, but he was like, hey, you know what? I need to get some
yeah,
more
and
playoff points into the next round. So he sent it off there.
mm-hmm,
He was in the playoffs with about what 300 feet left,
yeah,
and
and
300 feet later he got knocked out, and then here comes a little engine that could. Kyle Larson just banging off
yep,
chicanes, race cars, the outside
and
wall, and came home and got into the playoffs by 1 point to the good. And then we saw Newman; he overdrove the chicane there,
the
and that's what
turn on the
cost him there.
backstretch. Yeah, then that's the thing about the Roval. Like, there's a lot of surprises at the Roval. All right, ready to do
Yeah,
round of 8?
yep, yep. So round of eight has Kansas, Texas, Martinsville, kind of two similar tracks back to back with Kansas and Texas. Well, actually, no, not really. I mean, two intermediate tracks, and Kansas is more multi-groove, but then Texas, everybody's just going to be hugging on. Well, everyone in Texas is going to be hanging on to the bottom lane, and then once the traction compound kicks in, everybody's going to be in the bottom lane of wherever the traction compound is. So, regardless of what happens, it's still going to be a one-groove racetrack. And then
Mm-hmm.
we go Martinsville, and the iconic Martinsville moment is when Logano punted Truex out of the way there to be able to get his playoff berth. So I feel like we could see something like that. So I did the last one. So Carbon, what are your final four, making it out of the round of eight?
After making a round of 8, I got Harvick, Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Truex Jr. for Phoenix. But the ones that I believe who is going to be eliminated is Bowman, Blaney, Keselowski, and Logano, all three Penske guys.
So you have Bowman going all the way to the round of eight. I have him given eliminated in the round of 16. What is it in Bowman that you see?
Well, Bowman, like for Bowman, the reason I see him getting eliminated is because since Kansas is coming up, well, he is good at Kansas, but Texas, um, he runs okay at Texas, but he actually got knocked out by Denny Hamlin early in the spring. Martinsville, he did pretty good at Martinsville 1 year. I think it was 2018, if I'm correct, if I'm not mistaken. But when he didn't really run that well last year. Last year in the fall race when I went, but I just don't see Bowman making it in. Blaney, Blaney does run good, but I kind of feel like the pressure is going to get to him
Well, and
over
I feel
time.
like too with Blaney, it's not necessarily a pressure, and I don't feel like that penalty that he's has entering tonight is going to make a difference. Um,
No, I'm saying
but I
like
still feel like the thing I feel like with Blaney is that he's got to learn how to finish races.
that's the thing, and
He's had too many races this year, and you could argue last year where he
yeah,
has done pretty good at races, like been up front, been top two, top three, leading laps, sometimes even
mm-hmm,
leading the most laps. What was it? There's 7 times that he's led the most laps and hadn't gotten the win. So, and I know one of
mm-hmm,
those tracks that he's pretty good at is two of those is Texas and Kansas, especially Texas. I feel like
mm-hmm,
Blaney's shot to get into the final four would be Texas, but he's just got to finish those races. So, with that being said,
yeah,
my final four, same as you, Harvick, Hamlin. I got Truex in there because you just can't ignore him for what is it? How many? Is it 2 months now? He's finished in the top four or something like that.
yeah,
Like he had
yeah.
those string of top three
He's been getting good
finishes.
finishes.
Like he's gonna get a win here, and I know that he only has that one win, um, but you cannot overlook him when he's consistently doing that good. So
That's why I'm
Truex
thinking
him,
he's going to get that
and
win.
then fourth, I've kind of go back and forth on this. I've thought there's a lot of good guys you could argue for. You could argue Chase, you could argue Logano, you could argue Keselowski. Um, but, and I hate to say this because I really, 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 really don't like this guy, but I'll give him credit where credit's due. I think Logano is going to be the fourth guy in there. One, just because of kind of like a little like number, if you believe in like stipulation, whatever. That
Is
he's made it into the final four every single year. It's been an odd number year. So 2014 made it,
ex-
2015 not, 2016 made it, 2017 not, 2018 made it. He got the championship last year, didn't. This year I think he's going to get it. And then also too, I just like especially Texas and Martinsville. Those are two tracks that he's pretty good at. I
mm-hmm,
wouldn't be surprised if he were able to lock in a win there, even though he hasn't won since the COVID break. I think he gets in
mm-hmm.
there. So that being said, we
Uh,
got our guys in there. Just a couple of minutes before the green flag flies at Darlington, we're going to try to wrap this up before that starts. Carbon, between your final four, who is your champion?
I got Kevin Harvick
Elaborate.
because the reason I yeah yeah like the reason I picked Kevin Harvick is because like this dude, like he's really good at Phoenix, and actually besides that, he's been real good all year. Same as Denny Hamlin, but Harvick usually has like the dominating car. Except for the last couple championship races. I mean, he has fast cars at championship races, but the last couple hasn't been that good. But since we're going to Phoenix, which he's really good at Phoenix, and I just see Harvick getting his second championship. But I also kind of want to go back to the round of 8 is when I put Blaney, Keselowski, and Logano, all three Penske guys. I feel like between those, I kind of seen Logano making it to the round of four, but everybody knows that with Hamlin, with JGR and the Penske history, they do not like each other
Oh,
at
I
all.
know. They don't like each
That
other
that's
at all.
that's
So that's going to
that
be some heated competition right there.
that's what I was thinking because you know what happened to Logano at Martinsville? I was there. I seen it all, seen the fight and everything. Um, it's going to be bad blood between JGR and Penske drivers, but that's the main reason why I just don't see all three of the Penske guys. Plus, Keselowski got eliminated at Kansas last year. Was it Kansas? Yeah, Kansas last year. And with Blaney, I kind of see him getting the pressure from not for I could see him getting the pressure over time through the rounds um because I feel like when he gets to I say about round of 12, if he even makes it to a round of 8, in which I have him being eliminated in round of 8, he's going to do everything, try to make it to the final four. But I feel like the pressure is really going to get to him, and he's going to make a huge mistake, and that's what's going to cost him.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with you too. Just one, a couple of minutes we got left here. Uh, I don't want to feel like I'm copying you by saying Harvick, but I mean I feel like how can you not like if I'll use a football analogy here. If the Patriots were once again the most dominant team of the year, and the Super Bowl was played in Foxborough, I mean, it would be really
You
hard
know,
to pick up against them. And I see that exact same thing with the year that Harvick has had,
pa-
and
Patriots
the
are not going to be the same anymore.
I mean, I know that. I'm talking about the
Yeah, I
Brady
know,
era. I'm talking about the Brady
I
era.
know, I
But
know,
I
I
mean,
know. I'm just making
for
a
as
joke.
for as good, so it's like you think about like for as good of a season they would have, and then if the Super Bowl was in Foxborough, I view that same analogy with Harvick having as good of a year that he has. Basically, if anything, in my mind, his best career year that he's ever had, and he
Hmm.
makes it to the final four, and you put the championship race at his best track on the schedule. Well, one of his best tracks. I think Michigan's his best track still. But one of his best tracks, that's basically the house that he's built to this point. So ever since the new configuration, it's going to be mighty hard to pick against him. So, all right, real quick, the green flag is about to fly here at Darlington any minute. Carbon, real quick, give me a race pick for this first round: Darlington, Richmond, and Bristol.
For Darlington, right now um, I actually have Kevin Harvick to win Darlington, Richmond. I have Mark Truex Jr. to win that, and Bristol. I actually have Chase Elliott for Bristol.
Yeah, he won the All Star race there, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him. And then actually, actually, I don't think I got him in the same order as you. Actually, I don't have these guys, same guys as you. But Darlington, I got Chase Elliott. I think as close to good as he was running there in their night race that they had there during that midweek race. He knows what to
Hmm.
do, and he's going to be out for vengeance to get that win back from KB screwed him over. Richmond, that track's been really kind to Denny Hamlin. I think he's going to win there. And then Bristol, I see going to Truex. And I think Truex can get there because
Alrighty.
he's done really good there at the road courses, not the road course, the short tracks. So yeah, that's going to be it. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. I know this may have seemed rushed and everything, and once again, I apologize for the terrible OBS issues that we were having earlier. But yeah, real quick, last chance to do so. If you haven't, make your own bracket predictions and tweet them out right now on Twitter using hashtag NBB2020. And we'll see how your predictions lines up with me, Smoke Carbons, and Max Boost, which was not able to make it here tonight, but he will be back with us again when we join you guys after the round of one. So we will see you guys in a few weeks before the round of two starts at Vegas.